And we are live. MMA Uncensored, live number 17. Excited to be back as always. I want to give a very, very special thank you and a very quick thank you to Dana Brooke and Yuli Diaz for being on last episode. Dana Brooke's a WWE superstar. Boyfriend is Yuli Diaz. He's a pro boxer, MMA fighter, and bare knuckle fighter. So we had a blast last week talking. So pretty soon you're going to see me in the jungle gym. I did get invited out there. I'm doing some extensive training for this. And I think me and Ashlee are going to get in there and we're going to spar. I'm going to see what I could do. I don't know. I can't make any guarantees. But guys, thank you again. The following continues to grow, and we appreciate that. You can subscribe on YouTube at MMA Uncensored, and also follow us on the ever-growing IG page at MMA Uncensored, _. Tonight, very special guest. She is amazing. She's got a podcast too, and I want to talk about that as well. UFC fighter, and she's got cool tattoos. I want to talk about those tattoos too. I'm very excited. I see her smiling back there. Ashlee Evans-Smith, ladies and gentlemen, we're bringing her up right now. Let's do it. Ashlee.
Hey guys.
What's going on? How we doing?
It's been a good day so far. Started off right, a little bit of training, went to the beach for like an hour, got some sun, and now I do a podcast work and doing a podcast with you. So good day.
It really is a great day, especially for everything that's going on in the world. It's a good day. I like to hear that.
I mean, there's still pandemics and riots and lockdowns, and California, where I'm at, is shut down, but trying to be creative and be successful regardless of the circumstances. So just keep smiling, I guess.
That's right. Now, where about are you in California?
I live in Orange County. I live in Santa Ana. So, yeah.
Very nice. Now, when you say things are shut down, like completely shut down, like stores, shops, restaurants?
No, the first lockdown, and don't quote me on this, there's a difference between like shelter in place, which is basically you can only go out for necessities, right? The grocery stores, medical supplies, maybe the bank or something. That's not what we're in right now. We're in somewhere between that and normal. We can go out to restaurants, but you can't dine in. Some restaurants are basically blocking off the streets, and you can eat 6 feet apart, like in the street. They've set up tables and chairs and stuff like that. Gyms are closed, unfortunately, which is the biggest issue for someone like me, the athletes and the people that need the gyms open to not go crazy, or if they're preparing for a fight. And a couple other things have closed down, places of worship, stuff like that. So it's weird. A lot of things are closed. A lot of things are semi-open. It's a weird world we're living in.
Yeah, it's crazy, actually. Like, it sounds like you guys are taking it a little bit more seriously. I'm in South Florida, and everything is open. And it's nuts. Like, the numbers are spiking up. Everybody's freaking out. It's pretty crazy. And like, you can still go to a restaurant. You can still eat. I mean, yeah, they're doing the social distancing thing, but it's weird. Like, you could walk into a restaurant with a mask on, and then you could take it off when you get to your table. So I don't understand what the difference is between walking from, the front area to your table with a mask on, but then when you take it off, you're okay. Like, to me, it makes no sense. So
I don't feel like I should speak on it. Everyone's got their own opinion. At this point, I feel like we don't really know what's going on. Some people are getting sick. Some even less people are dying. If I have to wear my mask for this to end sooner, I'm going to do it. I'm not going to be a Karen and, I'll wear my mask. Florida, that's different because I know in my own experience, Florida follows its own set of rules. So I'm not surprised by that.
Yeah, it's the Wild West down here. It's pretty crazy. So for you, because all of this is going on, what are you doing to train? What's your alternative?
Yeah, not all hope is lost, really. I have, without putting anyone on blast, I have a couple of gyms that are, for lack of a better term, being a speakeasy, it's what's the password? But, it's good enough to stay in shape, but it's not ideal to train for a fight. And I have been offered a fight during the quarantine and unfortunately had to pass it up, not because of the gym situation. I'm actually nursing an injury that I had last year, but with the gym situation combined, it was definitely not a smart move. And, everybody knows the UFC is very hard to get into. It's even harder to stay in. So it's all about taking calculated risks, but also making very smart decisions. And for me to take a fight right now with a nagging injury and not having half my gyms and coaches and teammates to train, it's just not smart. But financially, a lot of other fighters might be between a rock and a hard place and might have to fight through an injury or through zero gyms or whatever. So it's a crappy time. It's a crappy time.
It is, yeah. I mean, fighters want to get paid. You're putting all this work in, then events are getting moved and canceled, and it's difficult. Now, what kind of injury do you have that you're?
So last year I got stem cells in my pec minor and shoulder area. Basically, if you're familiar with wrestling, I did like a Jap whizzer and tore my pec minor and shoulder area. That happens, my opponent, my partner actually did the correct defense. She sunk her weight down and just pulled everything on that. But so what happened was got the stem cells and then went straight into did some rehab and then went into a fight camp. Was supposed to fight a long fight camp, actually, about 6 to 8 months. I got the longest notice I ever have from the UFC, which was really nice. So we had Molly McCann as an opponent. We game planned appropriately, trained our butts off. We're ready to make weight, flew all the way over to London, and then didn't get to fight. So I was training through that injury, and I really wanted to fight, and I, believed that I could win. That's why I took the fight, regardless of the injury. But when all the gyms shut down, and we kind of became a little sedentary. Let's say that right. We weren't training, right? Got a little fluffy and whatnot, and then 2 months later, they opened back up. And I hit it hard. I was like, all right, we're just going to get this fluff off and I'm going to take a fight as soon as I can. And when you go too hard, too fast, boom. So re-injured my shoulder. And now, like I said before, I'm like, do I take a fight with, one arm or do I, make a smart decision? Yeah. So, and it's hard, I do need to fight, I'm not making $1 bajillion sitting on my butt over here. But at the same time, take a fight, lose the fight because of an injury, get cut from the UFC. Was that really a smart decision? Probably not,
Yeah. So that fight you were supposed to have with Molly was back in March, right? Before, like right when everything went down.
Right when it went down. Like we were on the front line, let's say, It was, you can fly over there and take the chance of having to fly back, take the chance of getting quarantined and whatnot. And it just felt right. It felt like, you go into battle, you don't know what's going to happen. Let's go, So I already knew that anything could happen. And in my mind, like, okay, worst case scenario, I'm trapped in London where I've never been, for 30 days. I'm just going to make the
vacation.
Yeah. So that was my way of thinking. Didn't happen that way. We had to fly straight home, fortunately, because I don't want to be stuck there for 30 days. But yeah, didn't even get to see anything. Like literally flew in, slept, woke up, and had to fly back.
Wow.
So, yeah.
I've done that before. I actually was was on a layover. I was in London's airport for like 3.5, 4 hours. Nice airport, but I mean,
not enough time to explore.
Can't do anything. Yeah. So now we'll backtrack a little bit because I'm curious to get to know you. Now you're originally from California, born and raised.
Yeah, I'm originally from California, a very, very small town called Ukiah in Northern California. Like 1,500 people or something like that. Yeah, very small.
So what was that like for you growing up in a small town, wanting to fight, I'm sure, at a young age? What was that like for you?
No, I didn't really know what MMA was until much later in life. But make a long story short, was always a tomboy. Ended up wrestling on the boys team all through high school.
Nice.
Was actually pretty good at it. I excelled. I think I took a lot of my teen angst and applied it to wrestling, and I beat up some boys, and that was really fun for me, and I became really good at it. It's so much that I got a scholarship to go to college. Went to Menlo College from 2005 to 2009. Met Carla Esparza my freshman year. We became friends. We wrestled together all 4 years. She was the one who actually showed me what MMA was. And I remember telling her, like, my freshman or sophomore year, I'm like, oh, you're crazy. I'm just gonna wrestle. I don't. That's too much. And a couple years later, after college, we graduated, I ended up moving down from Northern California to Southern California and started to fight.
Wow. So that's pretty cool. So really, your friend was the one who got you, interested.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, if it wasn't for her, I wouldn't really have known what it was. But
Mhm.
this is many years ago, so obviously women weren't in the UFC. Dana White, women will never be in the UFC. All that. And when we started, since women weren't in the UFC or
Mhm.
making any kind of money, we did it because we loved it, and we still do it because we love it. But let's just say we're very happy that Dana and everyone else has come around.
Yeah, we've seen some amazing women's fights over the years. I mean, Amanda Nunes sticks out. She's been incredible in the UFC. She's beaten pretty much every big time name out there and dominated them. We've seen a lot of great women fights in UFC. So when you were coming up and training, and obviously Dana White gave the green light for women fighting, who were some of the trailblazers for you that motivated you and inspired you?
I mean, Ronda Rousey was on the same amateur fight card as I was. It was called Tough Enough. It's in Las Vegas, and they're really great amateur promotion. They do a really good job of exposing you to the cameras and the lights on a low level before the big stage. And so her and I were literally on the same card, and I saw her, skyrocket through the ranks and into the UFC and all that. I didn't necessarily look up to her, like idolize her, but I looked at her like, all right, if this girl can do it, so can I. And I didn't get into the UFC until maybe like a year or two later. I took a different path. I wanted to be on The Ultimate Fighter, got called, but didn't have enough fights at the time. I think I was 1-0 or 2-0, something like that. So, Ronda was great, just to see that women were capable of that. But before Ronda, it was Gina Carano,
Yeah.
Julie Kenzie. There's a lot of Sarah Kaufman, a lot of women that I watched that, I feel it's unfortunate because they were in their prime before women were in the UFC. And then maybe they got a couple fights in the UFC, but, they really had a lot of, miles on them fight-wise.
Right.
And it was just maybe too late for them at that time to make money in the sport. So, like I said, super grateful that I am the age and, at the stage of my career that I'm at.
Yeah. You're still young, you still have,
Kind of.
Hey, look, you're still there, you still got time. Has there been any talks of a potential fight when you're healthy, or do you have a time frame when you think you're going to return?
Yeah, I mean, like I just said, the injury mixed with California just closing down again doesn't make me eager to sign a contract,
Right.
So, but at the same time, I was supposed to fight in March. It's been, like April, May, June, July, like way overdue. And I'm kind of notorious for only fighting once, maybe twice a year. Not that I like that, but shit happens. I don't know. You got Cowboy Cerrone's, and then you got, I don't know, memes, so like, I know people probably are like, how is that chick still the UFC? I see her fight like once every 10 years or something like that. But it's not because I like to fight once every 10 years. Trust me. So to answer your question, I don't fucking know. I really don't. Maybe September, if this thing, if I'm a good girl and I do all my rehab and, lots of rest and perfect diet and all that, that'd be ideal. But then maybe the gyms aren't open. And at this point, It doesn't matter. You can't wait for the gyms to open back up. I got sponsored by Zebra Mats, so we matted out my whole garage. My
Oh,
boyfriend,
nice.
yeah, my boyfriend's a black belt, so I can't say like, oh, I don't have a gym. It's like mats and a black belt boyfriend, jujitsu taken care of.
Yeah, and you got a built-in gym right in your house. It's
Yeah,
perfect.
you can always run. The streets aren't closed. There's
Yeah.
lots of things that we can do with just our body weight. So
Mhm.
a lot of people are getting discouraged, and that's not an ideal fight camp, but it's something, and it's better than nothing.
Yeah, and like you said, there are gyms out there that kind of take that speakeasy approach. People are going in, and then we see other gyms that are open. That
Yeah,
everybody's in there and they're doing their thing. So yeah, it's just, I guess it's really your demographic, your geographical location. But like
yeah,
you said, you gotta make the best of it. And hey, why not? Black belt in the house, mats in the house. I think you're okay.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, honestly, we didn't really care about the gyms being closed down. It
Well,
was more so the injury, but now in conjunction, it's like, ugh, let's just hold off until things get a little better.
yes, that's definitely a good idea. Well, I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing you back, in the octagon. You're a fan favorite. Obviously, I'm a fan of yours as well, so I can't wait to see you back in September. That would be great. I know they're doing another. I think 252 is going to be on Fight Island also, right?
I don't know. I
I
know
think it
that
is.
at the end of July, they moved back to Vegas at the Apex.
Right.
But anything after that, I don't really know. I just like the world, as you know, you wake up, you look at your phone, you're like, has the world imploded yet? I don't
Yeah,
know.
I know. That's so
Like,
crazy.
what's going on? Maybe in Florida, you guys are in your old land, but like California, it's like every day something new. Today, something popped up on my phone. It's like West Nile is now a thing again, and I'm like, oh, we need mosquitoes, like deadly mosquitoes.
They're driving everybody nuts. Today I saw a post about they got a chicken and they got a chicken embryo and they put dinosaur DNA in it, and now all of a sudden we have a T-Rex growing in
No,
somewhere in an egg. Like,
no.
even if it's fake, I don't even want to see it.
It just feel like I keep saying this to people. I'm like, I feel like we're living in a movie because every time you say like what's going on in the world, you're like, that's fake. Like
Right.
that can't be real. Like, no, this is real. This is real life. I can't believe.
Have you seen like the Dr. Evil memes when it's like he's like it's July, release the murder hornets, Like,
Yeah.
I love it.
Uh, my favorite is congratulations, you have reached level 6 of Jumanji or whatever, because it's like release the wasp and now the dinosaur or the rhinos or whatever. It's one thing after the next.
It's absolutely crazy. What do you think about like UFC, Dana White, all the stuff that they've been doing during these crazy times? What do you think of all that?
So I was real doubtful. Like I was a naysayer, and I feel
Huh.
bad because I just was like, there's not gonna be a fight island. No, no, no. It's a bunch of, whatever. And Dana was so gung ho, and I'm like, man, he's gonna look real stupid, but like now I look real stupid because I doubted him, and he's doing this amazing thing. And as long as everybody is safe, it's gonna go down in history books as one of the coolest fucking things a promoter and organization has ever done. And I'm grateful because even though I haven't fought yet during the COVID times, I guess you would say,
Right.
friends of mine like Carla Esparza, she fights on the 25th on the island, and that will be her second time fighting during COVID times. So she's pumping them out. And if you can, get in where you fit in kind of situation,
Yeah.
right? So
Yeah.
so grateful to Dana, so grateful to the UFC. Like who can do that? What other organization? No, none. NBA, MLB, no one else can do that.
They've
So
been struggling.
yeah, I think it's amazing. I'm grateful, and
Mhm.
I'm sitting at home watching the fights like it's normal, and it's crazy. It's hard to believe. I doubted it
Yeah.
so much.
What do you think like of it's to me it's so different watching without the fans, with the fans, I think the cool dynamic is the fact that you could hear the shots, you could hear, each corner yelling at their fighters. What's your take? Do you prefer with fans,
Let me
without
close the door
fans?
real quick. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, sorry, I don't know. There's some kids playing outside with toys or something. I don't know.
I hear it. Sounds like a bird or something.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
God,
Say, don't you know I'm doing a podcast and I could kick your ass?
Hopefully you guys can see me. Okay. Your question was about
The like watching it on TV without fans.
I think it's not ideal because for me personally, there's this amazing like energy that you get, like a drug, I guess you would say, because I never tried drugs. But it's like this high and this like, it revs you up and you're scared and you're nervous, but it's like a feeling that you'll never feel any other time. And it's kind of sucky because, our fight careers are very short-lived. We have a very small window to be in the limelight. And that walkout and those fans is a part of it. And so, all of us who are in the prime of our career, that's taken away from us. Small price to pay given the, the current situation of the world. But if I had to choose, I would always choose the fans. They make us or break us. They pay to see us watch or lose. They support us. They buy our merchandise. They, pick us up when we're down, send us good messages, send us bad messages. They're amazing. And so it's not what I want to do, but if I have to choose fight with no fans or don't fight at all, I'm going to fight with no fans.
Yeah, of course. You have to.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Of course, the fans, there's the adrenaline. Like I was even watching a Yankee game yesterday. There's no fans. It doesn't feel right. Guys are hitting home runs into the bleachers and you see the ball bouncing all over the place. Like, I want to see people catching it, like it's just totally different.
So Carla, she's my closest coworker, if you will. Okay. And we're basically like sisters. We're hanging all the time. So one of the first things she said was, man, I could hear DC commentating. And I'm like, that seems distracting, and she said that she could hear him be like, Carla's, doing this wrong, like what, fill in the blank, right? So she literally was like, oh, I am, so that worked to her advantage. But let's just say he was talking trash, like, man, Carla's just real suck, like maybe that gets into her psyche or something. And, so it's going to be weird. It's going to be different. But like you said, you'll be able to hear your corners a lot better without all the background noise. I don't know. I guess we're going to have to find out. I do want to find out because, like I said, it's like this is such a crazy time for us. In 10 years, when I'm, or 20, 30, I don't know, old and wrinkly, right? It would be nice to say, oh, yeah, I fought during the COVID times in Abu Dhabi or wherever.
That's pretty sick, though. Yeah, a lot of these fighters they're having this opportunity to fight at Fight Island, friggin' island that was created just for this,
Great.
Really cool stuff. Yeah, it's an interesting time. Who knows how long it's going to last for? Hopefully not much longer, we'll get back to normal again. I'm sure you do as well, training and everything like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I thought it would be over by 2020, but now with the second closure and there's some new vaccine that is clearly not ready to be used on people. I don't know, like we could see some major repercussions with the vaccine and I don't know. It's so scary. It's weird.
It is. I have a fan question.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm going to pop it up.
Yeah.
It's a common fan question, but it's directed for you. So let's get your take.
Okay.
What do you think about Conor?
Conor to me is like the male Ronda. So love or hate them, they have brought so much attention to the sport. You got to be appreciative if you're a fellow fighter, and I am. And he's not my like kind of guy. I don't think he's attractive. Some girls are like, "Oh, he's so cute." I'm like, nah, I don't really like blondes, I've never been a fan of trash talkers. I remember when Ronda and Misha had like their little beef. Misha would try like shake her hand, and Ronda would flip her off.
Yeah.
And then, my name is Rebel Girl, and I've got tattoos and maybe like a badass image or something like that. But at the end of the day, there's little girls and there's little boys and there's people, that want to be exactly where you're at, looking up to you, and you're not being a good sport. Sportsmanship is a big thing. Respect in mixed martial arts is the foundation of what we do. So McGregor doesn't really do that either, and he's not my favorite, but I appreciate him, if that answers the question.
I think you answered it well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's the name of the game. I know this, some fighters look at it like, hey, I want to put asses in the seats. I want to sell tickets. I want people to know who I am. I want to make the big bucks, and they put a whole show on,
Yeah, it's appreciative for people like me or some other fighters who we just want to fight, and maybe we got a unique look or something like that, but I'm never gonna grab the mic and be like, I want you. So if you guys could do it, sell more tickets for us, more power to you.
That's what's up. So talking about your tattoos, how many tattoos do you have?
I stopped getting that question, I think, like a long time ago, because I'm one, I guess you would say. I don't know. Yeah, I got my first tattoo when I was 15 with the guitar string gun, and it's been all, I won't say downhill, but like it's just, clearly I'm running out of room.
Well, you got another arm there, so it looks like you got some space.
Yeah. I told myself I would never go on this arm, but now you can kind of see, I didn't stick to my words. So.
There you go. So what's your favorite one?
It is this one right here. It's on my shoulder. It says Goomba. And that's
Goomba.
So I was raised by my grandpa, and he is the sweetest, most awesome guy, still alive. Everyone goes, oh, I'm like, no, he's still around and kicking. I was raised by him, and he would just call me that growing up. It means best friend. So
yeah, it's an Italian phrase.
Yeah.
That's cool. Was your grandfather Italian?
He's part Italian, and he's not my blood. So everyone's like, "Oh, you're Italian." I'm like, "No, I'm not." But yeah. And I learned early on that your blood, just because someone's not your blood, doesn't mean they're not your family. It's right. Who loves you and who looks after you and who's always there for you.
So true. It's just about who's in your circle and who's not. That's your family. Whoever's in your circle.
Yeah.
I like that. So you got a podcast too. I'm really interested in hearing about your podcast, and I'm what you call promotion friendly. So you can name drop your sponsors if you want. You can talk about you're in my home now. So when you're in my home, you're a part of my family. So you could talk about whatever you like. But I am interested in knowing about this podcast called Sex and Violence Podcast. Am I right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So that's the name of it. It's called Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl. Rebel Girl is me. If you're not a fan, you might not know. Rebel Girl is my nickname. So Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl. We are all over. We're on Spotify, Apple, all the major podcast platforms, and we're doing really well. I try not to look at the numbers because it's like looking at the scale every day. It stresses you out, but the numbers are going up every day, whether it's Instagram followers, downloads, subscribers. And I think it's because I've got two topics that go together pretty well. Everybody loves sex and everybody loves a little bit of violence. And essentially what it is I'm the host, and I'll interview top level MMA fighters. It's been 99% UFC fighters so far. Okay. Mainly current and active, but also a few retired and ex-fighters. And then we've also had one adult entertainer on to kind of get an expert view of the sex, aspect of the sex and violence. And we'll do that from time to time. I'm going to have some sex therapists on, some psychologists, and we're also going to start branching out into different genres, music, comedy, that kind of stuff. So, Kendra Lust, for example, she was our adult entertainer that came on.
She's a friend.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, so, beautiful woman. Yeah. Huge lover of mixed martial arts, and she just so happens to be an adult entertainer. So perfect for my podcast because we talk about mixed martial arts. If it's a fighter, we kind of see where they're at the time. Do you have a fight coming up? And pretty much after that, it's all sex. The sex aspect, and that's broken down into romance, dating, relationships, and sex. And so, I'll start off very slow and I'll establish kind of a rapport with the guest. Are you single? Are you dating anyone? Widowed? Whatever you got going on, right? And then we'll kind of talk about some pros and cons of maybe being a fighter and dating. Do you online date? Do you date, in person? Are you old fashioned? That kind of way. And then we will make our way into love and romance, and we'll find out, are they romantic, are they kind of are they a traditional type of person, whether they're a girl or a guy. And then we'll talk about sex, and we'll talk about some topics that people don't normally talk about. What do you prefer? Or nowadays everybody is like, oh, I identify like this. So I'll ask my guests, how do you identify? Are you heterosexual, homosexual, bisexual, pansexual? I don't know. It's
a lot of different ones.
It's an interesting world we live in. Yeah. And we're having a really good time. We're, I think what I'm trying to do as a host is humanize these fighters that, from a fan's perspective, have really been dehumanized, dance, monkey dance in the cage, and they feel like they can say anything to us, that we are, we got thick skin. You have to have thick skin in this industry, but at the same time, we're people just like you. Everyone's got an awkward virginity story,
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, everyone's been maybe catfished once or twice. I don't know, So it's a fun podcast. We play a couple different segments. One segment is called Fuck, Marry, Kill, and that's where you choose 3 people, and you got to choose to fuck one, marry one, or kill one. So
can you play the game with me?
Yeah, sure. So am I giving you the 3?
Sure.
Okay. I'm because I don't want to sit here and waste your time. I'm just going to give you one I've already given to one of the other guests. So, in all respect, always with respect.
Always. This is just for fun.
I'm a very, very respectful person to my fellow fighters, to my organization. So anyway, the last guest that I had on was Alex Hernandez of the UFC. Okay. And he got this one, so you can have the same one. So,
all right, deal.
Let's play fuck, marry, kill. You gotta choose one. Fuck one, marry one, kill one. All right. Okay. So, 115 champ. You've got Jessica Andrade. You got the 125-pound champ. You got Valentina Shevchenko, and now you've got the 135-pound champ, Amanda Nunes. You gotta fuck one, marry one, kill one. So.
I think I might get killed just for answering this question. All right. So I'm gonna have to go with fuck Shevchenko.
Okay. All right.
Marry Andrade and kill Nunes. And the only reason I say kill Nunes because I think she'd kill me first.
Yeah. Okay. So you fuck Valentina, marry Andrade, and kill Amanda.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Alex chose to, I think he said, fuck Amanda, kill Valentina. No, kill Andrade. Yeah, I killed Andrade, married Valentina, and fucked Amanda. And then I said, no, Amanda fucks you, Alex. He said yes. And then we end off the episode with fan questions, which are direct fan questions. Every week I will release the guest. This week coming up is Felice Herrig. So I'm getting a lot of questions for her. Ooh. And I'll take 5 or 6 and I'll ask her to answer them. And it's pretty fun because I feel like that's like you do, you are directly connecting the fans to the fighter. And I think they really appreciate that.
I love doing it. I think it's a good thing. It's just a good thing. It gives people an opportunity to speak, get connected. That's the biggest thing. Actually, it's funny you said about fan questions. So today, as I put a story on IG. You shared it as well. And it said, ask, what do you want me to ask Ashlee? And the questions that I was getting, total filth and disgust. It's just terrible. What's that?
All the deviants out there.
Somebody's asking about your feet. I'm like, come on, dude. Like, really?
Yeah, no, that would be PG compared to what I think.
Oh no, there was some other ones too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah.
I got respect, so
Yeah.
I watch what I ask, but there was some weird ones. It's like dudes were obsessed with your feet for some reason. I don't know. There's something special on your feet that all
I
these
think
guys are like talking about your feet.
I think it's and I don't know this, but I've tried to research a little bit since I am getting into this new realm of sex and relationships and fetishes, all the, and I was already into that. I'm a very sexual person.
Okay.
I listen to dating and relationship podcasts, so it's just, I don't know, it's I don't know, a hobby, but it's just something that interests me. I would listen to true crime as well, but I didn't really want to do a true crime podcast, and that didn't mix with MMA. So but yeah, so anyway, so I'm listening to these podcasts before my podcast, and feet are a very, very big thing. So I'm not really weirded out by it. And what I've come to, this is my theory. I think that the feet guy talked to the female fighters a lot about their feet because we're barefoot and we show them more than, actresses, comedians, even models. Models a lot are in shoes and stuff, but we are always barefoot, like fighting, training. So that's just something I've thought about because I'm like, why feet? Why us? We're always barefoot and, on the dirty mats. I don't know, but whatever.
Yeah, that's a good point. That is a good point. I didn't think of it that way. That's right. But yeah, barefoot, yeah, it's a big thing.
Yeah.
Feet, look, I mean, I think feet need to be every men and women. You got to take care of your feet. You know what I'm saying? You got to do it. Take care of yourself. But there's something about women. I think that they should have clean feet.
Yeah, I mean, I think
no dirt in the nails. Just keep them clean.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard this in passing, and whatever. I feel like men tend to think, or women, whatever, tend to think that if someone takes care of their feet, that they take care of the rest of themselves.
This is a good point.
It's a good indicator, I guess. But again, this is just my theory. I don't know.
It's a mystery. We have to. It's always case by case with this kind of stuff.
I hope I get a fighter or someone else on the podcast that tells me, "Oh, I love feet. Let me tell you all about it." That would be great.
Watch out. That could be a long rabbit hole you'll be going down. That's cool because now you have a new subscriber to your podcast.
You?
And I am, of course.
Okay, cool.
And I am going to I'm going to share it everywhere. MMA Uncensored is going to share it. We're going to make sure people check your podcast out too because I like it.
Yeah, in my little trailer that I created the other day, I'm so new to this, and what's that phrase? It's like, I don't know how it goes, but it's like, you're going to suck at everything. You're going to suck at the first time you run your mile. You're going to suck the first time you try to do MMA, but you're going to get better and you just got to start somewhere. And thank you, COVID. I guess it just felt like I couldn't use any more excuses. It was like, I'm too busy. I'm too busy. No, you're not. You're stuck at home. It's time to pivot and use this time adequately to, maybe this is something that sticks around forever. Maybe I transition after I'm done fighting, which is not anytime soon, into being a host of a podcast full time, or I'm doing 2 movies, hopefully in 2021.
Really?
Yeah, I did a small movie last year. It was called Lola. It's a female boxing movie.
Okay.
It's in the works of getting picked up by some major companies. That's all I really know right now. I had a non-speaking role, so nothing major. But it was fun. And I met a couple of different directors and producers that want to put me in their movies it's supposed to be this year around this time. But now they pushed it back to next year. So I'm hoping that those things work out. I'm not saying I'm some great actress, but like I said, you got to try and start. You're probably going to suck. I probably suck, but I'm going to try and get better.
No. You got the look. You got the personality. You're going to be fine. And you know what it's like to be on the big stage. So I think.
Not that stage.
That's the cameras. Don't worry about that stuff. That's easy. That's cool, though. Now, I just started watching on Netflix Kingdom. Have you seen it?
Okay, I have not. And I feel bad because everyone's like, it's so good. And there's MMA fighters in it. And so
it's really good.
Is Frank Trigg in it?
Yes. And there's actually, I think I saw like Isaac Valley Flag in there, Mike Beltran, the referee's in it.
Okay.
Who else was in it? Like I start seeing people like randomly popping up left
That's
and right.
that's really cool. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
friends with Frank Trigg, and I think I saw him post something about it, and so I should check it out. Is it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. It's 3 seasons. There's 10 episodes in the first, 20 in the second, and 10 in the third and final season.
Okay. Well, we have run out of things to watch on Netflix. I've seen every stand-up comedy special. We went on a binge watching episode like everyone has probably with Netflix, and I was on a gangster movie like kind of theme for a little while, and now it's just like whatever will pop up. We were on Tiger King when the quarantine first hit, and
Carol fucking Baskin.
yeah.
Fucking Carol fucking Baskin.
So I'm from a small town, remember I said, and I swear I've seen all those characters in my small town before. I know a guy that looks like that.
Yeah, I think we've seen all of them. Down here in Florida, we got like Loxahatchee Road, which is like, really close to like the swamp area and stuff. So we have the Gator Boys. They're down here, the swamp people. We got some of those down here. Those are some characters.
Yeah, I do like Florida. I spent some time in Miami when I was fighting for CFA. I don't think they're anymore, but it was fun. Just really, really fun. I like Florida, or like Miami at least, a lot.
Yeah, Miami's like a whole different place compared to the rest of Florida. So it's like its own little,
okay. All right.
own little island. Yes. I got another fan question.
Yeah.
What's the best part about being a female UFC fighter?
Oh, that's a great question.
I like that one.
So many perks, and benefits. Essentially, I'm doing what I love. And to be completely corny, there's a phrase, it's make your vocation your make your vocation your vacation, or something like that, and you'll never work a day in your life. So
okay.
Yeah. Yes. So basically do what you love, right? And when I first started doing MMA, there was no future financially in it. I just did it because I loved it. And then somewhere along the line, they're like, hey, do you want to make, $1,000? I'm like, I'll do it, and then 1,000 turned into 10,000, and 10,000 turned into more and more. And so money is not the best thing. The best thing is that I found a way to make my vocation my vacation. And so I love my life because I get to do what makes me happy. But that's not even the best part about being a female MMA fighter. The best part is that my whole life I've been in a male-dominated sport. I started out wrestling in high school. I wrestled in college, and then I got into MMA, right? So, and I've always been a tomboy. I'm wearing some lipstick, and I got, some makeup on. But in my heart, I'm a tomboy, like I don't really want to wear a dress. Like I don't mind getting dirty. Being a female MMA fighter female UFC fighter on this big stage, I've really gotten to show that it's okay to be tough and feminine. And I remember when I was younger, I struggled with that because I thought, if I do these tough, rugged sports, I'm going to be, they're going to think I'm a lesbian, or whatever, or I'm not going to get a boyfriend or something. And now it's like, I feel like I can embody a strong woman, but also, a feminine woman, if that makes sense.
It does. Yeah. And I think, what you're doing, you're inspiring so many other women and young girls that are coming up to do what you're doing and feel okay within their own skin that, hey, I could do this too. It doesn't just because I like doing tomboy stuff, who cares?
So I like it. Still a lady, damn it.
I'm a lady. I may not wear high heels. I wear boots, but I'm a woman.
I'm a delicate flower.
With a lot of thorns on it.
Yeah. Yeah, I love being a fighter, specifically a UFC fighter, because it's the top of the top. If I fought for Bellator and I never made it to UFC, there would probably always be this little part of me that was like, dang it, I never made it to the top level. So here I am, following my dream at the top of the top. And, every time I take a fight now, there's no easy fights. And so when you win that fight, the feeling is like, you didn't cherry pick. That was not an easy fight. And it feels so good. It's much, much more rewarding.
Pretty amazing stuff. And then Trevor followed up with, "Thank you. I have a 6-year-old girl that wants to do it, and I will tell her that. Thank you."
That makes me so happy.
Great advice right there.
Yeah. One time, I've had this shaved part of my head for like, I don't know, 4 or 5 years, maybe even longer now. And it was before I got into the UFC. So 2013, 14, somewhere around there. And right after one of my fights, a fan sent me a video shaving his daughter's head. And she's like 5 years old. And she's like, "Look, I'm like Ashlee." And I'm like, "Oh, what am I doing to the youth?"
They're getting corrupted. They're becoming rebels. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, at early age.
It's the rebel girl movement. That's what it is. So if you had, I'll do a fan question for myself, but if there's anyone today, let's say you're in perfect health, we're ready to talk fight, who would you want to fight? Who would you just really like to get in there with and test your skills?
I mean, when I have my heart set on something and my mind set on something, I really, really, really want to do it. And so for, like I said before earlier, 6 to 8 months, we were training for Molly McCann. And turns out she's a pretty cool chick. Her and I got to speak candidly and open with each other after, we end up not fighting. And she's a very cool chick, but there's just still something that I want to fight that little meatball, like I trained so hard for her style and, her in general. And I respect her as a fighter. And, but if I don't get to fight her, that's fine. But just like in my mind, I'm like, I'm ready to fight her. I trained, like long range tools and all the, and like the game plan. And I just know that it was going to be good. And she got to fight a week ago in Abu Dhabi. And that could have been me, and so it was bittersweet. And then unfortunately she lost to another girl I was supposed to fight on the Uruguay card, but I was sparring and some girl dropped down and put me in a knee bar and popped my knee out a couple weeks before the fight. So that's what I'm talking about. Like, I like to fight guys, but sometimes shit happens. But I got to watch those 2 girls fight and I was like, "Ooh, sign me up. I'll fight the winner," and I'm just so hungry, at this point that I've never said no to a fight. I've said, can we push it back because I'm my weight and I'm a fat girl? I never want to miss weight. I think that's our first job as a fighter, being a professional. So instead of committing to something and missing weight and letting everyone down, including your opponent who you should respect enough to make weight, I've said, can I have a little more time to prepare? And other than that, I've never said no to a fight. I said yes to Jermaine Bayron. How do you say her last name? Jermaine, you know what I'm talking about? 135?
Jermaine?
Dayrandami, Jermaine, Dutch kickboxing girl. She's in the UFC. You know who?
Jermaine Radami or something like that.
It's so hard to say her name, but anyway,
Radami.
She ain't no joke. Let's just say that. And I've signed a lot of contracts like this. Are you sure, coach? Okay, let's do it. A couple weeks in a training camp, and you start to feel prepared because ultimately all you can do is train, and you start to feel prepared, and when you're prepared, you start to build confidence, right? So that girl, and in my heart of hearts, I wasn't sure how that fight was going to go, but I'll never say no to a fight, especially if I have adequate time to prepare.
Right.
But yeah, so it's sorry. Long-winded answer would be whoever.
Bring it on. Let's do this.
Yeah. If I have a gym in all my limbs, that's it. That's all I want. A gym in my limbs. That's it. Please.
I like it. What do you think of the 135? What do you think of all the women's divisions? Which one stands out to you the most? Who do you think's the next big one coming up? Aside from yourself, of course.
um, it's interesting because I remember when they just added the 125, I kind of got talked into dropping down to 125, and I'm
Mhm.
already a decent size bantamweight.
Yeah.
So when they were like 125, and I'm like, what are the pros and cons of dropping more weight? I like food, and
Yeah.
they were like, the division's gonna be so open, and I'm like, okay, so and then I dropped the weight
Yeah.
and fought a couple times at 125, and yeah, like it definitely is a little bit more open than 135, but it's starting to build real fast, and so then I look at the 115-pound division, which obviously I will never go, and that's just full of killers too.
Yeah.
So I think obviously the 145, if that even is, I don't think that's even a division. I think they like make special fights for the girls that are that size. Um, but the 115, 125, 135, those are all great divisions. And I don't think one is lacking. I really don't.
Yeah. I mean, Shevchenko, she's great. She's 135, right? I believe.
She's 25.
Yeah. 25 or 35?
25, 125.
25. Okay.
She definitely
Nunez was saying.
at 135. Now her and her sister, who I was supposed to fight, I
Yeah, that's right.
on a tough finale card, and it just like and she fought Caitlin Chikagian recently. Chikagian fought an amazing fight against her, and out grappled her. And in my mind, I'm like, I would have done that,
Of
but
course.
it's like coulda, woulda, shoulda, right, Ashlee? But still, it's just
Mhm.
it's hard to watch sometimes when you have the opportunity in front of you, and then some shit happens like COVID or an injury or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to the next card. I'm really the one I'm really looking forward to is the DC and Stipe Part 3.
Yeah, I cannot believe that there's so many. I just can't believe that they're putting on fights Wednesdays and then Saturdays and then Wednesdays and then Saturdays.
Killing
Like,
it. Killing it.
I feel like all those all UFC staff and the behind the scenes people and the front of the house, like Megan O'Leary, all the people, they deserve a big Christmas bonus, because they're probably all sleep deprived and missing their families and whatnot.
Yeah.
And, unless they hired a whole bunch of new people, which I doubt. They're probably just overworking the current staff. They deserve raises and bonuses for sure.
Yeah, and unlimited masks and hand sanitizer for life.
Yeah, I
Just
mean,
throw it out there.
I think after all this, no one wants to see a goddamn mask for the rest of their life, unless you're a worker or somebody has to wear that. But
I'll laugh, like Halloween comes and nobody even gets dressed up. Nobody wears a mask. They're sick of it. Want to wear a mask.
Halloween is my favorite time, and I just don't think that we're gonna be through this, so I don't think there's gonna be Halloween parties and all the cool stuff. It's just my favorite holiday, but whatever. More years.
That's right. Do you have a career plan after the UFC from Trevor?
Trevor, thank you for all your questions.
Trevor's he's digging it.
Holding it down. Like we talked briefly earlier, I have 2 movies that are, on the horizon. I can't tell you when because of the COVID thing. The producers and directors don't even know when. So I would like to. I studied acting in high school and college, and my degree is in mass communications. So I was the editor of my newspaper for my junior year and my senior year. I did a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And now that I'm fighting and getting older, I'm like, what am I going to do after my career, right? So the podcast is not the end all be all. I have yet to monetize it. That's a goal in the future.
100%.
That's if I do monetize it, that will be something I do. It won't be the only thing I do. Maybe I do some movies, some stunt work, I know a lot of people are like, are you going to open a gym? Are you going to do this? No, I don't want to open a gym.
No gym.
No gym. I see a lot of people.
Business.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, they want to do that after their fight career. And I love fighting, but I think I would like to branch out for the, my golden years, I'd like to do something different. I'm always going to be a fighter. I'm always going to train. I don't see myself stopping ever because I like food and I will get way too fluffy if I don't. But yeah, I really don't know. And that's a scary thing to say. So Trevor, your guess is as good as mine at this point. I'm working on things and I think I'm a little more proactive than most fighters because I talk to my colleagues and a lot of them are a little clueless on what they're going to do afterwards. And I know I've been worried about that for a long time because I come from lesser means. So I'm always thinking about how I can take care of myself, but I will be around probably forever. Maybe I'll commentate fighting. I don't know.
I was just going to say, we don't have any women commentators in the UFC right now. Commentators. That's all the dudes.
There was this promotion. Oh, I'm not going to say who it is, but they were talking with me and my agent about commentating. They are a pro-am promotion out in Florida. And
come on down. Yeah, I know all the spots. I'll hook you up.
They had like 4 cards a year and they would fly me out and I would do the commentating and stuff like that. And I was so freaking nervous. I was like putting fights on, putting it on pause and being like, all right, now like practicing, you know? So I was really gung ho. I was game to try it out. Like I said before, probably going to suck at first, but I just got to give it a shot, right?
Give it a shot. Just do it. That's it. Just do it.
He's in a Kimura. I mean, Americana. I mean, oh, don't cut. Fuck, shit.
Hey, it'll make for good TV. And it'll make for a lot of memes and more publicity for you and more sponsorship opportunities for you. So make all the mistakes that you want. It's fine.
Yeah. Pull a Steve Harvey moment or a Janet Jackson moment, you know.
Ooh, listen, there's nothing wrong with a Janet Jackson moment.
Okay, just kidding. No Janet Jackson.
That'd be cool, though. I'd like to see it. UFC does, it's all the dudes. You know, we got Rogan and DC.
Yeah, sorry to cut you off. I thought Misha was leaning towards that for a little while, and then she went over to, was it One?
Yeah.
And I don't know what she's doing over there, but I was listening to her like post-fight commentary, and she's very well spoken. Obviously, very typical fighter. She knows her stuff, and so very pretty, very camera presentable, whatever you want to say. And then she just did her own thing. So who is it now? I mean, Karen Bryant, she is like not commentating, but I love, she's probably like idol. She
does a good job. But I want to see somebody with the headset on. I want to see a woman with the headset on, I want to see something like that.
That's stressful. I feel like you're going to get so much shit. Like,
what you got to do when somebody gets knocked out, you're just going to be like, oh! That's all you got to do.
Or when they do the side-by-side alignment, you just got to go virtually identical. You got
to do the kiss each other side by side. Like,
yeah. I would try it for sure. I don't know if they're ready for a tattooed commentator. They might not.
I think they're ready. Yes.
Not go with the
no discrimination. Do it. You cannot discriminate against tattoos. Do it.
Do you have any tattoos, Joe?
I have a few. Yeah, I got half a sleeve over here of Satan. I got he's getting slayed by Saint Michael though, so it's okay.
Oh my God.
Then, I got a Japanese letter here that I got when I was like 17, and thought Japanese letters were really cool back then. And then I have an Italian flag on my right arm with a shamrock because I'm a wee bit Irish as well.
So. Oh, you and Carla are like twinsies. She has kanji, the Japanese letters, and she also has a shamrock because she's part Irish.
Hey?
She's very, very proud to be part Irish. She's Irish and Ecuadorian. So
yes, proud Irish. We know how to drink our beer. Believe me.
Yeah.
So, are there any sponsors of yours that you want to shout out? I know we touched on your awesome podcast. Was anybody that's been by your side for a while and that take good care of you?
Yeah, if you guys do want to check out the podcast, it's like I said, all over Spotify, Apple, all that, and you can find our Instagram at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl. It's kind of long, but and the main people have been Kevin Boyd. He goes by DJ Zol. He is the audio engineer. He edits the podcast, and without him, it wouldn't be a thing because I am creative a little bit and I love talking to people, but technical stuff, out the window. I tried. So
shout out then. Shout out.
yeah, and he also runs Tomorrow Kids Studio here in Santa Ana, and it's right down the street from my house. I'm telling you, Joe, this was made for me. I drive like, boop, I get there, 2 seconds away, hang out with Kevin, Zol, call him Zol, who I've known for a couple years. It's just like hanging out with a buddy. Yeah. The person calls in and it's so fun. And it's been saving me mentally because, since my injury, I can't train. So I've been getting a little depressed. As fighters, we're pretty extreme. And when we can't do what makes us happy, we feel the other extreme, So him and Rick Lee, he's the producer. He's been helping me out here and there. And, those are the three main people that we don't have any sponsors right now. I haven't really been focusing on that. I want to create a really good product. I want someone to tune in and be like, oh, I got to get on this podcast. I got to sponsor this podcast. I want my brand or my product to be in this podcast. So, if any of you listening have a brand or product and want to be on the podcast, you can go to that Instagram at Sex and Violence with Rebel Girl, or you can also DM me. I'm very nice and personable, and I'll talk to you about sponsorships.
That's awesome. Yes, you are very DM personable. It's very cool. Appreciate that. Good. Yeah. So I'm excited. I am a new fan of your podcast, so I will be tuning in as well. As now, is it just audio or is it video as well?
Okay, so it is just audio for now, but I'm getting many requests to do video. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the next evolution of the podcast because, you and I right here, someone could essentially put their headphones in and hear us, but I think most people are visual, especially with a podcast called Sex and Violence. You want to see some facial reactions when they talk about whether or not they have sex toys at home. They're like, oh my goodness,
Yeah, exactly. So you got another new fan.
Oh, thank you, Nova Murphy. Hey, this is cool. This is really cool. The little bars that pop up and all that.
Yeah, we do the engineering on the fly here, so.
Maybe I'll call you for some tips and tricks when I transition to video.
I'll give you a free tutorial.
For sure. Thank you, Mma Uncensored, very much.
This is what I gotta do. This is what I do. We gotta help each other out. I think it's great. I started too. When I started my podcast, I had a different podcast that I was doing before this one, and I just started audio. I had a laptop and a microphone in my kitchen. I just started there, and then you evolve as you go along, and then you get the camera, you get the better equipment, and you start getting, better as you go. It's just how it is.
I'm pretty extreme, like I said before. Whatever I like and whatever I set my mind to, I get obsessive. And so listening to podcasts about podcasts, how to podcast, and I'm like,
that's a moneymaker right there.
I'm nerding out hard, and it's just like top 10 reasons why podcasts fail. Number 1, inconsistency. I'm like, all right, I'm never gonna miss a week. Like just
a week.
Woo, take a breath, Ashlee. But I love it and it's fun. And so far, 90% of the guests have been my friends. So it's just like shooting the shit, whatever, talking to each other. And I don't talk to my friends always about these topics, but since we are friends, I'm kind of cheating a little bit. I feel like I'm growing, and I've chosen my guests strategically because, let's say I had to interview you about your sex life. It's probably going to be a little uncomfortable for you.
And it could be boring,
I doubt that, it's just a boring interview is not, in my opinion, a boring interview is the fault of the interviewer, not the interviewee. Correct. It is your job as the host and the interviewer to make the interview interesting and to get something out of your guest, but in a very non-intrusive and an invasive way.
Keep it very conversational. Like I brought up your feet earlier. Like,
yeah, cool.
kind of a weird topic to talk about, but we merge into that weirdness a little
Worse,
bit.
worse, yeah. And I am a very open girl, so it's okay.
Say it, it's okay then. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
I like. I think you're gonna do great with your podcast. So I wish you luck with that. I think you got the look. You got the obviously the communication is there. You're interesting to talk to. You have interesting things to say. So I think you're gonna definitely branch out. And you're gonna do great for sure.
Thank you. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
I really, I told you off camera, I haven't been doing a lot of podcasts as a guest myself because, I feel like no one wants to talk to someone who doesn't have a fight coming up, like, she's boring right now. But I also really want to get the word out because I think that this podcast is important. I think it's
Mhm.
somewhere between a comedy podcast and an educational podcast.
Yes.
And I mean, it's not serious, but I do speak on some serious topics.
Mhm.
You get to know me a little bit. I always introduce the guests, but I also let you guys in on my life too. So if you guys want to listen, if you want to find out about your fellow fighters or your idols in fighting and all that, tune in.
Tune in, guys. Ashlee, thank you so much for being on the podcast tonight. You are officially uncensored.
Been uncensored for a while.
Ooh, I like it. You rebel girl, you. I love it. Thank you
Thank
so much, Ashlee. Can't wait to see you back in the octagon. I'm looking forward to it. Let's stay in touch. And
Okay.
I want to send you some cool stuff too. So DM me whatever address you want me to send that out to.
Perfect. Hey, I will send something back.
Ooh, I like presents too.
Thanks, Joe. This has been fun.
Awesome. Had a great time. Have a good one, Ashlee.
Bye, guys.
Bye. And that's a wrap. MMA Uncensored live, number 17, with Ashlee Evans-Smith. How great is she? So much fun to talk to, so easy to talk to. And she made a good point. A lot of people don't want to talk to fighters that don't have a fight, but this is why we do this. We want to get to know people. We want to get to know what goes on in their life outside fighting, So it's really cool. And look, made a new friend, and I'm getting a special gift, and I'm going to send her a gift as well. Maybe I'll let you know what the gift is. Maybe I won't. But it was a lot of fun. Guys, thank you again for tuning in to this week's episode. It's been a lot of fun. We got some cool guests that are coming up in the pipeline. Some shockers, too. I think you guys are going to like that. But really looking forward to continuing to grow the podcast. And thanks to you guys, the followers, the subscribers, the listeners. Can't do it without you guys. So thank you so much. It's much appreciated. Shout out to the sponsors. Got to give them a shout out because they help us keep the lights on here at MMA Uncensored. So hit them up, for your CBD needs, hempboca.com. Check them out. Use coupon code MMA for a special discount. Also for your cannabis needs, for quality cannabis, hit them up, veteranfarms.com. And of course, our newest sponsor, shout out, SportsFlick. You could go to your app store, download the SportsFlick app. You could watch the upcoming Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship 11 on SportsFlick, as well as many other sports. So check them out, SportsFlick. Pretty awesome stuff. Guys, thank you again. Girls, thank you again. Ashlee, thank you. MMA Uncensored, number 17. Hope you all have a great night, guys. Take care.